Hi everyone, and thanks so much for tuning in. So we've been back in school for about a month now, and I wanted to just share with you how I stay organized as a parent throughout the school year. So as parents, you know that when it's back to school for your kids, it also means back to school for you as well. And there are so many different things that we have to keep up with, whether it's paperwork or school events, just different things going on. So first I wanted to share with you my school binder. This is a binder that I keep for myself. He has his own separate folder that keeps his homework and different things like that. I have this binder divided into 5 different sections. I have the information tab, events, homework, progress, and copies. And so under the information section, I have his school calendar. I also have my work schedule on here as well. And then I just have different important things like the family handbook, the directory, just different things like that. I also will print out emails sometimes and keep those in here as well. The next section that I have is the events section, and this is where I keep information about field trips, any kind of class parties. I also like to keep things like fundraisers that we may be having going on. So right now we're currently doing a fundraiser, and the good thing about these dividers is that they come with a pocket so that you can easily access stuff. I'm keeping all of his fundraising money in these pockets for right now. Next is the homework section. So I just have the syllabus in the front, and then he gets weekly newsletters and stuff that kind of just tells us what his homework is throughout the week. And so I like to keep those in this section as well. Like I said, none of his homework or work goes in this binder. This is just for me to keep up with. The next section is the progress section, and this is empty right now because this is more so for any kind of test results I may be getting, or if we have a parent-teacher conference, any kind of a progress report that he gets, I'll go ahead and keep that in here. And then the final section is just the copies section, and that's where I keep any extra forms that I may have, or if I need to repeatedly use a form and make copies of it, I'll just keep the original one in here. Also, important papers that I may have signed, I like to keep that in here as well, just to have an extra copy for my records. Keeping a binder like this is super helpful because it just keeps you organized, especially when it comes to teacher conferences and things like that. If you have just all your stuff in an organized way like this and ready to go, then you kind of will always be on top of stuff. Next, I like to keep a calendar, and I use my phone calendar, but I also like to have a physical one that I write down in. And this is the one that I have. This I think I just got from Burlington or Marshall's, one of those kinds of stores. They have a lot of cute little stationery things like this. This is where I write down important dates, different holidays on here. My son wears a uniform, so when they have free dress days, I go ahead and mark that here as well, so I know, not to have him dress in his uniform that day. I have field trip information, doctor's appointments. I also have extracurricular stuff, just anything that is important and that I need to remember. I go ahead and write it down in my planner, as well as putting it on my phone and setting reminders. Next, I wanted to share this, which is this big box, and I got this again also at a Marshall's or a Ross. And it's one of those kind of decorative boxes. So this is where I keep any keepsakes. So any artwork that I think he did a really good job on, I'll go ahead and keep that in here, as well as anything that's sentimental. So for example, he made me this little plate for Mother's Day one year. This apron is something else that he made me. And so I keep that in here as well. So that box is really good for anything that's oddly shaped, or any kind of sentimental stuff that I want to make sure to keep. I'll go ahead and place that in the box. Next thing I recommend keeping throughout the year are envelopes. I like to have these bigger ones for if I have a lot of paperwork to turn in. It's just easier to put everything in like one big envelope like this. And then I like to keep these smaller envelopes for whenever I have to turn money in. So if I have, you know, to pay for something, cash or check, I just go ahead and keep it in this envelope. And another thing I like to keep are paper clips. And again, this just helps to keep everything together. If I order like Spirit Wear or something like that, I'll go ahead and put my money in this small envelope and I'll label it, you know, AJ's Spirit Wear money or whatever. And then I'll go ahead and use my paper clip and clip it to the form that I am attaching the money to. And the last thing that I wanted to recommend keeping handy are sticky notes. I find that I'm constantly writing notes to his teachers or just in general, and these sticky notes are just always good to have around. I also like to write AJ notes sometimes and, you know, put it in his lunchbox and things like that. So I'm always reaching for sticky notes. So I hope you guys found this video helpful. I know that whenever, you know, school gets started, things can be a little bit hectic throughout the year, but hopefully this will help to keep everything organized and calm. Be sure to like this video and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you next time.